There's a reason ancient women feared childbirth more than war, more than plague, more than famine. Because in the ancient world, bringing a child into this world meant staring death directly in the face. No hospitals, no anesthesia, no antibiotics. If something went wrong, there was often nobody on earth who could save you. A healthy woman could enter labor in the morning and be dead before the next sunrise. Some women spent days in agony during obstructed labor. Others survived the birth itself, only to die from infection a few days later. Families often prepared for the worst before labor even began. In some places, pregnant women settled their affairs, said their goodbyes, and entered childbirth knowing there was a real chance they would never come back. Yet somehow, generation after generation, ancient mothers survived. Not because childbirth was safe, not because doctors understood what they were doing, but because women, midwives, and entire communities spent thousands of years inventing desperate ways to cheat death. And some of those methods still sound unbelievable today. In ancient Rome, a girl did not become a woman the day she married. She became a woman the day she survived her first birth, and many did not. Childbirth was one of the most dangerous events in a woman's life. Across the ancient world, mothers died from bleeding, infection, prolonged labor, and complications that modern medicine now treats routinely. What terrifies us today is that people back then often had no idea why these deaths happened. They only knew that they happened far too often. In ancient Egypt, physicians and priests both stood at the bedside, because no one could say for certain which one would be needed more. Medicine and magic were not separate things. They were parts of the same desperate attempt to keep both mother and child alive. There was no understanding of bacteria, no knowledge of germs, no concept of sterilization. A perfectly healthy woman could give birth to a perfectly healthy child, and then develop a fever days later that slowly killed her. To the people around her, it seemed almost supernatural, so they prepared for the possibility of death the way we prepare for important life events. In some societies, pregnant women settled family matters before labor began. In others, relatives gathered close when the birth approached because everyone understood the risk. Childbirth was not viewed as a routine medical event. It was a battle whose outcome nobody could predict. And when things went wrong, they could go wrong in horrifying ways. One of the greatest dangers was obstructed labor. Today, doctors can often solve the problem with surgery. Ancient people could not. A labor that should have lasted hours could continue for days. The mother grew weaker. The child grew weaker. Everyone in the room knew something was wrong. Yet there was often little they could do except wait, pray, and hope. Sometimes both mother and child survived. Sometimes neither did. This is where one of history's most famous operations enters the story: the cesarean section. Today, it is one of the safest major surgeries performed in hospitals around the world. But for most of history, it was something entirely different. In the ancient world, cesarean procedures were generally associated with mothers who had already died or were close to death. The goal was often to try to save the baby when saving the mother was no longer possible. It was not a miracle procedure. It was a last act of desperation. Yet despite all these dangers, ancient women developed remarkable methods to improve their chances of survival. In ancient Egypt, women often gave birth while crouching or kneeling on specially designed birthing bricks. Rather than lying flat, they used gravity to help the child move downward naturally. Across other parts of the ancient world, women gave birth standing, squatting, or supported by ropes suspended from ceilings. These positions may seem unusual today, but many actually helped labor progress more effectively than lying on the back. Ancient artworks from Egypt, Greece, and Rome also show birthing chairs with openings in the seat. These allowed experienced midwives to assist the delivery while the mother's body worked with gravity instead of against it. The real heroes of childbirth were often the midwives. Long before medical schools existed, midwives accumulated knowledge through experience. Generation after generation, birth after birth. They learned which positions helped labor, which warning signs meant danger, which techniques sometimes saved lives. much of this knowledge was never written down. It survived because women taught other women. Ancient remedies were also common. Herbs were brewed into teas. Oils were massaged into the skin. Wine was sometimes used to clean wounds. Many treatments were ineffective. Some were probably harmful, but a few may have provided genuine relief. The people using them simply had no way of knowing which was which. They were conducting centuries-long experiments without realizing it. And that may be the most remarkable part of this story. Almost everything modern medicine knows about childbirth was built on thousands of years of accumulated human experience. No laboratories, no medical journals, no advanced technology, just observation, memory, survival, and an endless determination to protect both mother and child. The next time you pass a maternity ward or hear the cry of a newborn baby, remember this. For most of human history, giving birth was one of the most dangerous things a person could do. Yet generation after generation, women endured it anyway. Every one of us exists because somewhere in the distant past, an ancient mother survived.